warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Putri Veronica from Manajemen 2028. My NPM is 2241140. Ethics in international business refers to the moral principle and standard that guided behavior in the global commercial environment. This principle influence how companies interact with stakeholders, including employees, customers, suppliers, government, and the broader society. Ethical business conduct is critical not only for legal compliance but also for maintaining trust, credibility, and long-term success across international markets. In an international context, ethical challenges become more complex due to difference in cultural values, legal system, and economic conditions. What is considered acceptable in one country may be viewed as unethical or even illegal in another. For instance, practice related to bribery, labor standard, environmental impact, and data privacy vary widely across borders. Therefore, multinational companies must develop a strong ethical foundation that transcend local norms while respecting cultural diversity. Key ethical issues in global business is bribery and corruption. While some regions may tolerate informal payments or give as part of business dealing, these actions often violate international laws such as the U.S. Foreign Corrupt Practice Act or the UK Bribery Act. Engaging in corruption can lead to legal penalties, reputational damage, and loss of investor confidence. As a result, a technical multinational corporation implement anti-corruption policies, conduct compliance training, and create mechanisms for whistleblowing. Another important area is labor ethics, particularly in developing countries where labor laws may be weak or poorly enforced. Companies must ensure that their global operation and supply chains don't exploit workers through unfair wages, unsafe working conditions, child labor, or forced labor. Ethical firms adopt fair labor practice and monitor their suppliers to uphold human rights and international labor standards such as those established by the International Labour Organization. Closely tied to ethics is the concept of corporate social responsibility, which refers to a company commitment to operate in a socially, environmentally, and economically sustainable manner. In the context of international business, CSR involves taking responsibility for the impact of business activities across different countries and communities. This includes minimizing environmental damage, supporting local economics, exchanging in philanthropy, and ensuring inclusive growth. Environmental responsibility is a major component of CSR in global business. As companies expand their operations worldwide, they face growing pressure to reduce their ecological footprint. This includes managing waste, reducing carbon emissions, conserving energy and water, and adopting green technologies. Multinational corporations are expected to adhere to global environmental standards. Regardless of the environmental laws in host countries, failure to do so can result in backlash from consumer regulation and activist groups. Community and community engagement are also critical in international companies should strive to understand and respect the social custom and tradition and concern of the communities in which they operate, investing in legal education, healthcare, infrastructure, and entrepreneurship can strengthen relationship with host communities and contribute to long-term development. CSR is not just about donation, it's about building shared value between the business and society. Ethical decision making in global business also includes transparency and accountability from most businesses in their financial reporting, advertising, and dealing with stakeholders. Stakeholders around the world are increasingly demanding greater transparency regarding how products are sourced, how workers are treated, and how profit is distributed. In response, many businesses publish sustainability reports or ESG and community engagement are also critical in international companies should strive to understand and respect the social custom and tradition and concern of the communities in which they operate, investing in legal education, healthcare, infrastructure, and entrepreneurship can strengthen relationship with host communities and contribute to long-term development. CSR is not just about donation, it's about building shared value between the business and society. Ethical decision-making in global business also includes transparency and accountability for most businesses in their financial reporting, advertising, and dealing with stakeholders. Stakeholders around the world are increasingly demanding greater transparency regarding how products are sourced, how workers are treated, and how profit is distributed. In response, many businesses publish sustainability reports or ESG. Global business face increasing pressure from consumers and investors to uphold ethical standards. In today's interconnected world, unethical practice in one part of a company global's operation can quickly become public knowledge due to social media and international journalism. For instance, revelation about sweet shop labor deforestation or tax evasion can trigger boycotts, protests, and regulatory scrutiny. Therefore, reputation management is an integral part of international business ethics. Another case issues is ethics in marketing and advertising. Companies must be careful not to engage the deceptive advertising, especially when entering foreign markets where consumer protection laws may differ. Marketing campaigns should also be culturally appropriate and avoid stereotypes, discrimination, or offensive content. Ethical marketing builds long-term consumers' trust and avoid public relation crises. In international business, corporate governance is closely linked to ethics. A company board of directors and executive leadership are responsible for setting the ethical tone, establishing codes of conduct, and ensuring the ethical principles are integrated into corporate strategy. Strong governance structure reduces the risk of unethical behavior and extend accountability. This is particularly important in cross-border operations where regulatory oversight may vary. Stakeholder theory provides a valuable perspective on ethics and CSR global business. According to this theory, companies have a responsibility not only to shareholders but to all stakeholders, including employee, customer, communities, governments, and the environment. Balancing the interests of the diverse group require ethical reflection and a commitment to fairness and justice. International organizations and initiatives such as United Nations Global Compact, Guidelines for Multinational Enterprise, and the ICO Standard on Social Responsibility offer frameworks and principles to guide business in ethical and responsible conduct across borders. Adopting these frameworks can exchange a company global legitimacy and alignment with sustainable development goals. Ethical leadership is a critical factor in embedding ethics and social responsibility into global operation. Leaders set the example and shape the corporate culture through their action, communication, and decision making. An ethical leader promotes integrity, fairness, transparency, and respect across all levels of the organization. In international business, ethical leadership must also embrace diversity and inclusion as global teams often consist of people from various backgrounds. Ultimately, ethics and social responsibility are not just legal or moral obligations, they are static imperatives in international business. Companies that prioritize ethical practice and CSR are more likely to build strong brands, attract loyal customers, retain talented employees, and gain the trust of global stakeholders in an era where sustainability, equity, and transparency are highly valued. Businesses that act responsibly are better positioned for long-term success and positive global impact. Okay, I think enough. Thanks for your attention and see you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.